Hi, Deepthi.
Hi, Deepika, how are you?
Good. How are you? How's your health?
Uh, it's going on up and down.
Hope you feel better.
Yeah. See, the thing is, you never have the time to, you know, kind of rest, right? But trying. Yeah. Thanks.
Let's just give everybody 5 minutes and then we'll get started. This lecture would be extension of what we discussed last week. So if people felt a little bit fast, and we're going to cover some more functions, methods, invalidation, create some formula fields, add some data through data import wizard. So we'll do all of that. That way, the concepts are going to be crystal clear in regards to data import and data loader, validation rules, formula fields, everything. So let's just give 5 minutes for everybody to join.
Good morning, Deepika. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tripti. Let me share my screen.
Good morning, Deepika.
Hello.
This is Vijay.
Hi. Okay. So just 2 more minutes, guys, and we'll get started. And there will be a few new topics. So it'll be a combination of everything today. I hope everybody was able to do the assignments up till now because not many people joined the Wednesday class. So hopefully they were able to figure it out on their own. Vijay, how's everything going with you?
Yeah, Deepika, it's going good. Actually, I did up to the validation rules. I didn't do the
Formula fields yet?
formulas.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. At least you did till validation. And what about
I,
data loader and stuff? Were you able to download it on your machine?
yeah, I have already. So
Okay, okay, good.
I have some doubts whether do I have to ask before or after the class.
Can we do it towards the end of the class? Is there anything that is um something that's going to stop you from understanding? If it's pretty basic, you can ask it now. Otherwise, we will move it to the end of the class.
In the validation rule, some of the formulas,
Hmm.
I have a doubt because like is peak value,
Hmm.
and so that's where I have a doubt.
Okay, is pick value. What is the doubt?
Once again. You have mentioned text,
Yeah.
like shipping method equal to international, right? So instead of text, since it's a pick value, why don't we use the is pick value?
You can use is pick value and you can check if the value of the pick list is corresponding to that particular thing. That is one way of figuring out. Means you're checking, let's say the shipping method is international. So
Mhm.
is pick val is the value of the shipping method is international. That is what the is pick val will do. We are
Yes.
checking against a specific value, whereas text of shipping method is going to tell you what is the current value of that record, shipping method's value in that record. It is
It's
going to
always
give you
the
the
best
text version.
way is pick val, right? Since it's a pick value, it's a pick list, right? So,
Yes, yes.
okay.
So one is going to give you what is available in that field. The other one is going to see, it'll check against that pick list value. It will compare, is the value of the pick list so and so?
Mhm.
Okay. And the other one is going to give you what is the text value of that field right now.
So that is taking the field value, right?
Yes, that particular field value. So for example, let me show you. We have something called as shipping method, right? Shipping method has values like international, ground, 2-day, and overnight, correct? So these are the expected pick list value. Is pickval, what it does, it basically checks shipping method. Let's say this is the pick list value. Is the value of the pick list international? So it is checking, is the value of the pick list international? This is going to give you a true and false answer. This thing, the output will be either the true or it will be false. Whereas the text of shipping method is going to give you what is the current value of that field. So it will give you international. That is the difference. This is going to give you a true or false return. This is going to give you the text itself. It could be international, it could be ground, it could be 2-day, it could be overnight. What is the value of that record? Does that make sense?
It's like we are making hard coding, right? Like we are used against the API.
No. Okay. Hard coding is, you're not hard coding anything. What are you hard coding here?
So we are giving the value itself directly, right? In case
We are
if we change
see, in
something,
pick list, you always have a static set of values. That is what a pick list is. What is a pick list? Pick list means this field can have a value like international, it can have a value of ground. What you're doing is pickval, it is checking, hey, is the current value of this field international? It's basically checking, is it or is it not? If it is international, the response of this method would be true. If it is not international, the response is going to be false. Whereas the text of shipping method tells you what is the current value of this field. So for example, what is this field on? Shoe order or I think shoe order.
So can I take a stab there?
Sure, go ahead.
So Vijay, think of it like this, right? One is from a logical evaluation perspective, right? eSpeakVal is evaluating the value, right? That's what Deepika is trying to say. So when you are in a logic, when you are evaluating if it is A or B or C, what is it, right? That's when you use eSpeakVal. Now, if you are curious, what is the value? Then you see, okay, get me the text. Say, suppose you're writing a flow, you're in a program or whatever. If you want to do some sort of logical branching or if, then, else, something like that, right? If you're writing an if, then, else, then you want to see conditional branching. Is it A, B, C? What is it? Accordingly, then I want to do this, right? Then use eSpeakVal.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And if you want to see what is the exact value, then you will use international. Like then you will use, sorry, text. Text is telling you what this is going to give you a string output. This is going to give you a true or false output. Is it true or is it false? The methods are completely different. Does it make sense, Vijay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
both are read only. You are not inserting any value into the pick list. You are just reading. Both are reading the value.
so which is the best practice?
There
Is
is
there
no right or
anything?
wrong, I would
No,
say.
no, there is no best practice. That you have to understand what is the purpose of these. The purpose of these is to read value from a pick list
Mhm.
or read value and evaluate a true or false condition.
Okay.
Okay. So one is giving you, you're checking against something. Is it true or not? That's what isPickVal is doing. You're checking the value of the field against a particular string, against a particular text. Hey, is my pick list value international for this record? The answer can be yes, or the answer can be no. Whereas the text of isPickValue, the text of that field tells you what is the exact value of that field. So if I go to this record, to order record, and if I say on this record, S002, if I have said ship isPickVal, so right now I'm the value, the text version of this record of this field is going to give me international. If I switch it to USA, here it is going to, the shipping method is changed to ground. So text of the shipping method is going to give me the value ground. In the case of isPickVal, I am checking, hey, is the value of the shipping method a particular value? Is it ground? Is it international? Is it today? Depending on that, it's either going to give me a true response or it is going to give me a false. In one method, you're getting a true false response. In the other method, you're actually getting the value of that field. Okay?
Yeah.
We will do a couple more examples today, so we'll understand this better.
Okay.
Okay? So today, the first topic, guys, I want to cover is record types and page layouts. This is the newest topic we are going to cover. Now, what is the reason for introducing record types and page layout? Excuse me. So let's say we have a requirement where we say we can either place international orders or domestic orders, right? We are this CloudKicks company is a company that operates across the world. It does deliveries within the US. It does deliveries outside of the US. So in the case of international, we need two separate values. We need what is the custom code and what is the code. Another field that we need to add is, what was it called? Import duty. How much is going to be the import duty? So these two fields only make sense in the case of international orders. Okay. So when you have a requirement where you want to have two flavors of the same object, okay, that's when you're going to use something called as record types. And what happens is, first thing the user is going to enter is what type of the order it is. Are you creating an international order or a domestic order? Depending on which one the user has selected, a page would be shown to him based on what is the order. And in that page, you can define, hey, for domestic order, these are the fields I want the user to answer. For the international order, these are the fields I want to answer. And you can have different look and feel for both these record types. Okay, so what is a record type? Think of record type as different flavors of the same object. So depending on, it's the behind the scene, it's the same object, but the look and feel is completely different. For a US citizen, you want the form to have values like SSN number. For somebody on H1, they don't have a citizenship passport number or things like that. Then you wanted to show different set of fields for them. But behind the scene, what you're doing is you're storing the employee information, right? So first question the employee is going to ask, hey, I'm an H1 or I'm a US citizen. If it is a US citizen, you're going to present him with a different form with different set of fields. If he is a H1 person, then he's going to have different fields. So in order to separate things out and give a cleaner UI, you use these record types and page layouts. Very, very important topic. So do pay extra attention to this one. When you have these record types, you can define different pick list values to different group of users. Okay, you can say, okay, for international orders, these are the fields I want to show. For each pick list, I can say that, okay, these are the only values that make sense for this pick list value. You can define that as well. Assign different page layouts depending upon the user profile. If somebody belongs to a sales profile, you wanted to give a different look and feel. If somebody belongs to a service profile, you want to give a different look and feel to that user. In the case of real life, a form may have different sections depending upon whether you're applying for a job or a loan. So same object, but different purpose. So behind the scene, you're referring to the same object, but for certain criteria, for certain, you want the user to enter certain sections. For the other, you don't want to show the unnecessary sections to the user, which doesn't make sense for that particular user. Okay, once we do the example, it will become much more clear.
Hey, Deepika.
Yes.
Given this is like super, I think one of those very foundational aspect and also a very popular question in interviews, right? What is like a, I mean, up to the point and precise definition? How would you answer? What is a record type, right? Say if you're taking an admin interview, how would you want to answer the interviewer?
See, the record type, I would say, I don't have a definition for it.
No, I mean, that's why I was like, not definition, but like, how would you answer
No,
in an
it's
interview?
I can based on requirement. Okay, so um if let's say if we talk about a loan object, okay, you can have different, it's a loan object, you are asking for a loan from the company. Let's say Geico, right? Geico gives loan. Geico gives loan, home loan, they give auto loan, they can give rental loan where rental properties, sorry, not loans, insurance. They give auto insurance, they do home insurance, they do rental insurance, right? So the insurance object is behind the same is the same. You have created 100 fields on that insurance object, but some fields make sense for an auto loan. Like you're going to ask the user, hey, what is your vehicle number? What is the VIN number of the vehicle? You're going to ask those kind of questions. How many miles are you driving? But those fields don't make sense for a rental property insurance, or it doesn't make sense for the homeowner's insurance either. So for homeowners, you have different set of fields. So when you want behind the scene, it is the same object you're inserting on, but you are giving your end user a different look and feel depending upon what type of record it is. Is it a home loan? Is it a is it a home insurance? Is it rental insurance? Is it an auto insurance? So the look and feel changes based on the record type. Similarly, in our case, we have international orders and domestic orders. Some fields make sense for international orders, which we don't want to display when we're talking about domestic orders. So I can explain to you from a requirement perspective. And I think when you give an answer based on requirement, you make that employer understand much better than just giving a definition.
No, I mean, the reason why I ask is I also try to do the same thing, or even if I'm trying to like explain this to my business users or someone who's non-technical, right?
Yeah.
But I was just curious to see, was there any like better way of doing this? So yeah, I always try to do it by example.
Yeah, because examples makes things much more clear than giving a
Yeah.
definition. I don't have a particular definition of record types.
Okay, no, I was just
Layouts, you can understand it's basically how the layout of the page is. Where do you want sections? How many columns you want under a particular section? What should be the heading of the section? That is what a page layout is. Record type is tied to a page layout. That, okay, if the record type is this is the look and feel of that page. If the record type is this is how the page should look like. So when you have to organize based on the record type, that's when you're going to use this combination of record types and page layouts. And when you are in the real world, you will be playing a lot with record types and page layouts. They will have different types of account. They will have different types of record types for different objects. Can I proceed?
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, what is a page layout? Page layout controls the look and feel of the record. They decide which fields are visible and which are required. They can also decide which related list you want to show. You also decide what buttons you want to add. So the complete look and feel is decided by the page layout. You and I may both open a shoe order record, but I only see customer information and billing, whereas somebody else sees shipping and customs. That is the difference in the layout of the page. Okay, so now in our case, what we're going to do is we are going to CloudKicks sells shoes both locally as well as they sell it internationally. Now, there can be two types of shoe orders can be placed. One is domestic orders and the other one is international orders. And for international orders, we would want to ask the user for two additional pieces of information. One is custom codes and the other one is import duty. So these are the two fields we will add on our shoe order object. The main object, the fields will be on that. But when you are choosing a domestic order, these fields will not be displayed. But when you are choosing an international order, these fields will be displayed. So in the case of domestic order, you will show everything except these two fields. Whereas in the case of international order, you will show everything, including these two new fields as well. Okay, so now let's go back. And first important thing is we'll go to the shoe order object. And here we will go to the setup. And the first field that we are going to add on the shoe order is the customs code. So we'll go to this one. It is a text field. So I'm going to create a new field here. And the data type I'm going to select is a text field because custom code can be a combination of anything. Or you can have a pick list also. It's up to you. We will go ahead and call this as customs code. And length, we can say 10 characters long. And next, visible to all, next, and save and new. And the second field is import duty. How much is going to be the import duty? This one is going to be a currency field because you can have $100, $200, whatever. So we're going to go ahead and put here, this will call it as import duty. And let's say we make it as 5 length, decimal place is 0. Next, visible to all, next, and save. Okay, so now you have added two different fields, and these fields only make sense if it is an international order. So what we're going to do here is we are going to create a record type. We'll go ahead and create new record type here, and we will call this as the existing record type. We only have master, so we'll call this as international order. And it is available to all the profiles. So this is the name of my record type. The record can be of two types. Either it can be an international or it can be a domestic record. Next, and here, so which layout do you want to show when it is an international order? Okay, so if you want to choose one layout for all the profiles, you can select that. Or what you can do is you can have a different layout for each profile. So let's say for a salesperson, you want to show a particular layout. For a non-sales user, you want to show a particular layout. You can pick and choose based on the profile. Here, for the shoe order, international order, we are going to show this layout. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save here. So I've created one record type and I said that, okay, if the user has chosen this record type, then I need to show the layout as shoe order layout. So I will go to the page layout, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to either go ahead and click here, and we will save as, and I will call this as domestic layout. Okay, So I'm creating another version. And in the domestic layout, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the customs code and import duty. These are the two fields which will not be visible onto the domestic layout. Whereas in the case of international, if you go to this one, which is same as international, you can see here that this particular layout, I'm going to move this over here. Custom code is on one side and import duty is on the right side. So this is the look and feel if it is an international order. So those two fields will be visible if you choose the second layout, if you choose the second record type. So now we've created one record type, which is called as international order. And if the user has selected international order, automatically the international layout will be shown. But another record type could be domestic. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call this as domestic order. And here, I'm going to make it available to all the profiles and click on next. And here it is asking, apply one layout to all profiles. So here I'm going to say, hey, for domestic order, this is the look and feel. And in this look and feel, those two new fields are not there. I'm going to go ahead and proceed and hit save. So what I did was very simple. I have decided to create two record type. One is international and the other one is domestic. Okay. For the international, if somebody has said, okay, I wanted to do international, in that case, I will see two additional fields. And in the case of domestic, those additional fields will not be visible. And another thing you can do is you can also change the pick list values. Okay, so if you see here, this is a record type and you see all the pick lists are defined here. Now, if it's a domestic order, shipping country only USA makes sense, right? So here I can go to the shipping country and I can say only US makes sense. So I will move the rest of the values onto the left-hand side. So I've said, okay, shipping country for domestic order will always be USA. Okay, shipping method will only have these three values. International does not make sense for orders which are domestic. And status, it's basically order can be in either of the statuses. So I cannot differentiate on the order. So what I've done is not only I was able to pick and choose the layout, I was able to see what pick list values make sense for each of the record type. So in the case of domestic order, the shipping country will always be USA. Whereas in the case of international order, it will be everything but USA. So I'll go back to the record types and I'll open up the international order. Okay. And here I'll say shipping country and I will have every country except USA because this is an international order. You can send it to Canada, UK, Germany, South Africa, whatever, and hit save. So this particular order, international order, will only have everything except USA. Shipping method will only be international. You're not going to have the rest of the shipping methods. Okay, we'll call it as safe. If you want, you can have it, right? You can do, even for international orders, you can do all those methods. But we will just say, okay, for international order, the method is only going to be international. Now, if I go over to the shoe order, initially, we never had to ask these two questions. Now, this is the first question we have to answer. Is it an international order or is it domestic order? This came from how many record types you have. So if you had created 4 record types, then 4 of those record types will be shown to you. Here, we only created 1 record type. Sorry, 2 record type. That's why you're seeing only 2 options, international order or domestic order. So if I have selected international order, I will see custom codes and import duty. And here in the shipping country, I am only going to see everything except USA. You can see here I have all the options except USA. And shipping method, if I have chosen Canada, the shipping method is only international. So whatever pick list values you have defined for that record type, only those pick list values will be shown. Similarly, if I have chosen the domestic order, those two additional pick list, which is the import duty and the customs code, that particular two fields are not visible under the domestic order. So this is what is the power of record types and page layouts. So behind the scene, you're still saving on the shoe order object, but certain fields don't make sense for certain shoe order records. So those fields are hidden from that page layout. So that is what a record type does and a page layout does. Any questions, guys, on this one? If you want me to repeat something, you let me know. If you want me to Girija, Tripti, Deepti, is everybody crystal clear on this? Okay. So basically, Tripti, let's first understand what you did not understand. Let's talk about that. What are your questions in regards to this? Tripti.
So Deepika, record types mean like as per the business requirement, we are going to create that kind of layout. Is it like that?
Yes. So business requirement will say that, okay, just this was a business requirement, right? You are replacing orders, and there are some orders which are international, and there are some orders which can be domestic. And you said that, okay, for international, I want the user to enter these two values for import duty and customs code. That makes sense only for international orders. So what you did was you differentiated that, okay, I need two different record types. And in the page layout of one record type, you added those fields, and the page layout of the other, you removed those fields. And you said that, okay, so if I go over to one more thing I want to cover here in the under the shoe order, edit object, you can in the page layout assignments here, if you go to the page layout and there is a page layout assignment, here you are saying that, okay, if it is domestic order, this is the domestic layout every profile is going to see. And if it is an international order, this is the layout that international order will have, the shoe order layout, which is nothing but same as international. It has customs code and import duty. Whereas in the case of domestic layout, those two fields are not visible. So based on the requirement, you're going to create record types. Does that make sense, Tripti?
Yes, Deepti.
Okay. Any other questions you have?
So, Deepika, sorry, the page layout means the look and feel of that page,
Page.
what we are going to show on that screen. Am I
Exactly.
understanding correct?
Yes. So on that
Okay.
page, if you want, if I go to the page layout, and here you can define, these are the two page layouts you have, right? Under the shoe order layout, right now, if I go to the shoe order, and if you click on new, if you click on international order, everything appears pretty bad, right? You have account, order date, etc. And then one field appears here, the other fields appear here. What I want it to look much more nicer. So what I can do is I can go ahead and create a new section. I can drag this section, I can put the section anywhere on the page, and I'll call it as for international orders, something like this. And I say it's a 2-column or 1-column. Means, do you want one field in one column, the other field in other, or you just want on left side? So you can define, is it a 1-column or 2-column? So we'll choose 2-column. And tab key order. Okay, if you click tab on your keypad, should it move from left to right or should it move from top to bottom? We'll go with left to right. Okay, click OK. And I moved the customs code and import duty over under the international order section. Okay. And then here you have account date. I will move certain fields on the left: shipping country, shipping method, status, total amount, number of items, days since order, status icon, and shipping label. So I arranged this look and feel, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It might take few minutes to get reflected because of the caching issue. So this one, I changed it on the shoe order. Similarly, on the domestic layout also, there is no concept of international order because this is a domestic order. I will change the look and feel here. I will move certain fields on the right side, certain on the left side, and the 2 additional fields will not be shown under the domestic order. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. So the layout of domestic is slightly different than the layout of the shoe order. Now, if I go to shoe order, and let's just refresh the page multiple times, you will see that the international section is available, has been added. That is happening because of the page layout change you just did. You added onto the page layout a brand new section. You dropped those 2 additional fields on that, under that section. That is coming from the page layout. Okay, let's just refresh it. We click on new. We select the international order. We select next. Nope, it hasn't picked up. Let me go ahead and inspect it. Empty cache it. Close it. New. International order. Jesus Christ, this doesn't work. Okay, it came. So you can see here, you see these 2 sections, customs code and import duty.
Yes.
And that is because of the record type. Similarly, if you click on new, if I say international order, now why is not showing over here?
So Deepika, can I have a permission to ask one more
Yeah,
clarity
yeah.
question? So what I'm understanding, like whenever we create an object, so by default the page layout will be there, right? For let's say for the shoe order is an object. So with that, by default shoe order page layout will become. So if I want to add other layout, like for example, so do I need to create the again object, or like I can add the other page layout also in that thing?
You can add another page layout.
So without creating an object, is it like that?
You're talking, see, you mean to say record type, right?
Record type means like you are just putting a what I'm understanding, like you're on the condition, like for example, if it is an international, so I'm going to display that page layout.
Yeah.
If it is domestic, it's like you're just putting some constraint, means like as per the
as per the requirement.
Requirement, yes.
Yeah. So see, for every, you can have different page layouts for an object, different page layouts under an object. So you can have, under the shoe order, we created 1 page layout for international orders, 1 page layout for domestic order, but you need to have different record types also. You can have as many layouts as you want.
So that record type, Deepika, we are going to create in under the shoe order object. Is it like that?
Exactly. Yes. This record type, it is under, you see here, shoe order is the object. This is the record type that is tied to shoe order. And for this record type, here is the page layout assignment. You're saying that if the record type is international, this is the record type. If they're international, then I want every profile to get a layout of shoe order. If the record type is domestic, then this is the layout for every profile. So depending upon what is the record type, that page layout will be visible to that user. So all of this is tied under a particular object.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, think of it as a view, right? So you get a different view of the same thing based on the record type.
Exactly. Tripti, you good?
Deepika, I have.
Yes, Deepika. Yeah.
Okay. So it's, yeah.
So you modified
the page layout, right? And then before the modification, so we already created two records, one both on both the record types. Okay,
Very
so how
good.
the page layout change, right, impacts
So it depends on what is your default record type. So here,
So Deepika, default record. Oh, sorry, Papa.
no, continue with your answer. I wanted to do one thing. Let me go ahead to the page layout, go to the domestic layout, and let's see. I wanted to drop this record type field. Okay.
Yeah.
And we will drop this field somewhere on the page. Let's drop it here for the domestic, as well as we will do for this international as well. And we will drop this field record type because I want to know what is the record type for those two existing records. Usually, I believe it's going to be not master kind of. So here, and this is a Salesforce bug. It doesn't just show it right away. Okay, see here, it is blank. For those two records, it's completely blank. And that's why it couldn't understand what should I choose. Here, if you, by default, it's selected international order, and that's why you see the customs code and import duty. If I change it to domestic order, I'm hoping those two fields will go away. Oops.
So in the real world, right? So we may have to go backfill or
and backfill it, correct. You will have to assign that domestic order, and then let's say we change it and we hit save. Now it is domestic order. Those two additional fields have gone away.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Tripti, you had a question?
Deepika, what I'm understanding, like whenever we create an object, so basic page layout will be there, and apart from that, as per the requirement, as many as page layouts we would be able to add in our object.
Under a record type. Page layout, how are you going to say that, okay, what record type, what page layout to show for this record type? So you have to tie the page layout to a record type.
Yes.
Okay.
Clear. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank
No
you.
worries. So this is the example of the page layout and record types.
Hey, Deepika, quick thing.
Yes.
So I think this is with respect to what was asked. So what you did was we selected a record type and then we got a particular page layout.
Yeah.
Then on the detailed page layout, you added the record type again.
No. So what I did was I added that field on the
the field. So
what the record type was.
So I was just trying to think from a real life perspective. Say I have like a really complex flow, and I'm trying to think why would anybody want to do that, right? So I was just thinking, so maybe if somewhere in like particular screens, if you want to know what is this record type, right? And I think what we just saw is it would not populate based on the actual selection, isn't it?
No, it will populate based on the actual selection. These were the two records which were already there before we created this record types.
Oh, but if you created a new record, then it would actually
populate.
show.
Yeah, so there's an international order next here. Select the account, let's say United Oil. Status is draft, shipping country is UK, and hit the save. Select an SLA tier. Where is the SLA tier? Region is required for customers. Oh, it's complaining on. Okay. You see here, the record type automatically got populated.
Okay, so it is able to backread that. Okay.
Yeah. Only those two records were created before the record types were introduced. That's why they were blank.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I thought, okay, it had some limitation that it cannot read.
No, it will read from what you have selected in the previous screen.
Got it.
Guys,
Also, I think
yeah.
an observation, maybe I think before getting into like these kind of fundamental um, features of Salesforce, maybe giving a business use case probably might help. And also a little brainstorming probably can also help. I think you have given a great example of shipping order, international and national, and probably what other examples that people think that will wherein I think we use the record types and page layouts will probably also clarify on these foundational things because these are building blocks, right?
So I can tell you another example which I've
No,
worked.
I mean, I don't want you to tell.
Yeah,
Probably
you
saying
guys
is,
can come up with, yes, you definitely can
yeah,
come up with. But another example would be on accounts. Let's say you have you wanted to create accounts which are sales related, service related, because you might be there are people who are only interested in your services, so you can create different layouts for sales account, service accounts, things like that, just to have a different look and feel. That can be another example. Suppliers, same international suppliers or domestic suppliers, you can have the same thing. But definitely come up with your own use cases. Where will you use record types and page layouts? I'm going to give you one or two examples in the class, but you should think, what else can you do with those record types and page layout on these different objects? Okay, is everybody clear on record types and page layout? If there is somebody who wants me to repeat something, now is the time to speak up.
I think everybody who does a thumbs up should give an example.
That's a good one. But I think, okay, everybody is giving a thumbs up, so
How about individual and business on accounts, right? So those will be
exactly. Individual and business account, correct. There's a concept of person accounts, which is if it's enabled, you can't revert back. So there is a business account and in person accounts concept is there in Salesforce.
Wait, is that controlled by record types? If you enable person
Behind the
accounts?
scene, it is a kind of record type, but it goes much more deeper. But there is once you have but it basically what it does is your contact becomes your account in the case of person account, because there is no two differentiate, it's one entity. Whereas in business you have account and then you have people tied under that account, whereas in the case of person account and contact is one and the same thing. But yes, you can theoretically say that it is kind of record types behind the scene. Okay,
In
guys.
case of
Yeah.
customer service, you could have like high priority tickets versus lower priority. You could have certain things that you're doing differently for the two of them. So depending on the severity of the problem.
But the fields you're going to ask the user will be pretty much the same, right?
No,
But
I mean, if it's a high priority thing, and let's say that account is very important, you might be
yeah,
doing something extra, like you could have an escalation or something like that. So depending on your business process, right? Because this is driven by your processes,
yeah.
your company, pretty much. That is where you would have different scenarios that you're thinking about and planning for, right?
Yes, it is based on like what, yeah.
Because your requirements will also be accordingly.
No,
Addressed.
I think that isn't it more like
I
that's
don't think
that's
high
not a
priority and
record
low
type,
priority
right?
case can be a
Yeah.
record type, because see the SLA and all that can happen through a process. But the majority is if you want different fields to be shown to the user based on a particular criteria, that is when you're going to use a record type.
So that's what I'm saying, right? For a high priority case, maybe you want certain fields, and you for the low priority.
But how do they know it's a high priority and a low? Like first, everybody is going to say it's a high priority case. If I log a case, I'll say this my case is high priority, right? So everybody might just choose high priority. You can think in that direction. That's yes, makes sense. But I've never come across a scenario where they have created a record types for cases. What we did was in our previous company, FDIC, basically they had anytime a bank goes under the radar where they're not able to process it, they used to create different types of cases based on different scenarios. I don't remember, like.
That's what I mean. I mean,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is it might not be the severity priority, but based on something that you're doing differently, because this is about showing a certain view to the users
user.
based on certain conditions is what I'm.
Yes,
It could
this is the
be
concept.
based on service
Yeah,
type.
Deepika,
We had
according to the banking you said and Deepti question, the cases, instead of going to the cases separately, it always works in like whether the account is a saving account, checking account, you will have
Yeah,
that type there itself.
yeah.
Then under that, the cases will come.
Or you can say for checkings, you'll be different fields. You'll ask the user.
Yeah.
For savings, will be
So
different.
the record types will be like saving account
Excellent.
or checking account or investment
That is
account,
an
something.
excellent point. Yes, Vijay, that is excellent point. Yeah. So when there is a concept of showing different fields based on a different record type, you will come under record types and page layouts. I don't want to spend too much
It's
time here.
mainly the process of the business.
Yeah,
That's where the record type comes.
exactly. So now the next thing we're going to use is, so in the previous, I'm okay to proceed, right? Okay. Since I didn't get a question, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. Now, in the previous tutorial class, we actually loaded suppliers, we loaded shoe inventory. Did we loaded shoe inventory? Yes, we did loaded shoe inventory. Now, here we're going to load shoe order and order items using the data import wizard. And through this, our records will be inserted properly. Okay. So you already know there is a tool available called Data Import Wizard and Data Loader. Data Import Wizard, if you wanted to load records up to 50,000, then you can use Data Import Wizard. When you have records up to 5 million, you will use something called as Data Loader. And in the previous tutorials, we did look at both these tools and we loaded certain records through one tool versus the other. Here we're going to stick to data import wizard and we will add shoe orders and order items. So here I'll go to the setup. So let me first show you those two sheets that I have created. So I'll go to the admin under the data import wizard. We have shoe orders and order items. So if you remember, every order is going to have some order items underneath it, right? So shoe order becomes the parent and order items becomes the child. So the first thing what you need to do is you need to populate shoe orders. So this is how the shoe order sheet looks like. So in the shoe order sheet, you have the order number. Okay. Order number is automatically generated, so you don't have to worry about that. The date of the order and the status of the order. Shipping method could be ground, 2-day, international, overnight. Country is going to be either one of these, Germany, Japan, UK, India, and accounts. And let me get rid of this. Delete. And accounts. So every shoe order will be tied to an account. So if you go to a particular shoe order record, you will see account is a required field. So if you go to the new, go to international, whatever it is, account is a required field. There's an asterisk next to it. So you cannot create this record without populating the account record. Okay, if in your sheet you have all the columns up till E, but you did not have the column F, you're going to get an error message saying nothing could be inserted because you have not populated the required field on that object. Okay, these fields, these values are from a different org. So I'm going to get rid of this and I'll go to the account. and I will populate the data properly. So Burlington, let's see what all accounts we have. I'll go with this one. So I'll get the ID for this account and I'll put it here. Similarly, if there are validation rules, it will kick in. So some records might fail. Then you have is stride gear. This is another one. We'll populate it over here. Similarly, we'll go to a different account. Trailblaze. This is the ID. And then here, let's just copy these two and put it here. Okay. So I am inserting the shoe order object. Now, there is a concept of what do you call international and domestic now. So let's see what happens. I'm not doing anything on record types, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to data import wizard. So we'll go to the setup. We'll go to the setup here and data import wizard. And here I'm gonna scroll down, launch the wizard, custom objects. I will go and look for shoe order. We'll go and select that. I am adding new records and which user field? We don't have any user field. Which account field in your file specifies the master detail relationship? So you know on the shoe order object, there is a field called account, which is a master detail relationship. You have to populate that. So I'm going to select salesforce.com ID. That's what we have populated in this field. And next one is trigger workflow rules and processes. If you have any workflow rules and if you have some processes running behind the scene, do you want them to be triggered once these records have been created or updated? You can select this checkbox. And record type. For these, what should be the record type? Okay. So some of them right now, these are, you can choose one default record type. So I'm going to go ahead and choose domestic order as the record type for these. Okay. Record type lets you specify different objects and layouts for different users. You can only import records of a single record type per import or the import will fail. So you remember that. So I can only choose one record type. So all these records that I'm trying to insert will be of one record type. So you can, ideally what you should have done, you should have created two lists. One list would be of domestic orders. The other list would be of international order, and you do two inserts. Since we're not doing that, we're just doing it one insert. I have majority of them is international order. So I'm going to go ahead and choose international here. Okay, because everything except USA is international. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then,
Deepti,
yeah, go ahead.
if you go back, I know it's the same thing. So which which account field in your file specifies the master detail relationship, right? Can you click that one?
Yeah.
Oh, account name versus, oh, okay. So it's not reading from the Excel. So it's just
No,
asking the data.
it is basically asking because it figured out that on the shoe order, there's a master detail relationship. So where does that master detail relationship define? Is it coming from, is it a Salesforce ID, which it is, right? This is a Salesforce ID, or you could have given a name as well, just the account name.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought it was reading the column.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, okay.
Because we haven't even loaded the file yet. So we will go ahead and select this file, shoe orders, and then we will click on next. And order number, we are not mapping because order number is automatically generated. If you remember, every record gets an order number automatically. So I'm not mapping it. So when you're not mapping it, that field is not going to get mapped. Order date, we will select the order date that's there. Status, it is the status there. Shipping method, we have shipping method. We have shipping country. So we'll select the country from here. So everything we have mapped. So order date is this. The status is draft. The method of shipping is ground and 2-day, USA, Germany, etc. And these are the accounts. We're going to go ahead and click next here. So before I do that, I want to see how many orders are there in my shoe order. So we total have only 3 records here. And then now I'm going to start the import. Click OK. So now let's see how many records have been successfully processed. We'll refresh this page. 4 failed. So let's see what was the issue. Let's see what is the issue. Invalid or null or okay. Bad value for restricted pick list ground. Why it is a bad value for shipping method? It is correct. Ground 2-day shipping method. We are setting up the value. Ground 2-day international and overnight. Let's go to the shipping method.
Did you pick the record type as international?
Oh, you're right.
That's why.
Excellent. Excellent, girl. Excellent. Because we have already, if you remember, for that record type international, we said those pick list values should only have these options. So let's do one thing.
So all the domestic ones failed because
Exactly.
you have those.
Very good. Thank you, Deepti. Appreciate that. So here, everybody understood why these records failed? The reason the record failed is because when we were creating the record types, if you remember, there were pick list underneath. And we changed the values of the pick list. We said, okay, if it is an international order, only these values should show for international orders in the pick list. If it's a domestic order, these values should show under the domestic order. So what we're trying to do is we were trying to load it international, and those pick list values didn't make sense for international. That's why those records failed. So here I'll go back again and I'll go to the data import wizard, and we will again load the shoe order here. So launch the wizard, custom objects, shoe order, and add new records. There's no field. This time I'm going to do domestic order. And here, this is the one which was able to be inserted. No, which one was the one that was able to be inserted? International was the only one.
Actually,
Deepika, on doubt, what will happen if we upsert it? Do the pick list added these values?
No, absurd is not going to do anything. It's still going to fail. So I'm going to change it. Because I'm going to, let me delete this first. Okay. So the country is USA. So what was happening was when the country was other than USA, you can only choose one shipping method, which is international. Okay. That's why it was failing. Upserting is adding and inserting records. It's not going to do anything with the pick list. When you have to insert records or update records through the same sheet, you will use upsert operation. It's not going to change anything on the pick list. Even though if you do upsert, it's still going to fail. Now it will not fail because the country is USA. And for that country, the method you have chosen is ground, 2-day, or overnight. So this should work. Vijay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to choose the CSV file. We'll select the shoe order CSV file here. And next. Wait a minute, previous. Order date.
No, enjoy. It's fine. Take your time up.
Shipping method. Somebody is not on mute. Shipping country. So everything is mapped. Hit next here. And then we'll start the import. Fingers crossed. Hopefully all these records will get inserted. Again failed. We did choose. Oh, you know what? I did choose a different record type. That's why. Yeah, the record type is still the problem. So here we'll go to the data import wizard. Launch the wizard. Custom object. Shoe orders. Add new records. This will be domestic. Everything else is the same. We'll choose the CSV file.
Oh, so did you select international earlier?
Yes, I did have international earlier because I think it picks up that by default. So I changed the record type. Next. This is order date, status, shipping method, shipping country. And let's go ahead and get started. Next and start import. Jesus Christ. What's going on? For domestic order, if I go here, go to shoe orders, edit object. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do one thing. For record types and we chose domestic order. Shipping method is correct. Ground, 2-day, and overnight. I'm going to
Do
move.
they exactly match the?
Yeah. Is there any space or anything on the Excel, right? Is that
I don't think so, but let me check. This is a new learning we're doing. Ground, 2-day, and overnight. And here, the shipping country, I'm just moving everything. Save it. And then here, shipping country. Oh, it is US,
okay?
not USA. Okay, let's try, hopefully.
You want to change that other data type to remove the international?
Let's try that. On the shipping country, shipping method, we'll do this and then hit save. So now we'll go to data import wizard. Third time is a charm. Let's see if it works this way. And we updated the sheet to US, ground, draft, date, everything is correct. Okay. In domestic order, CSV file, choose file, shoe orders, next, order date, status, shipping method, and shipping country map. Next. Start the input. Quick open. Okay. 4 records processed, which is correct. So we are good here. Now let's go to the shoe orders. We only had 3. Now we should have all the shoe orders here. And if you open up one of the shoe order, you can see account has been tied. Method is international. It's a record type is, wait a minute. I think I picked the wrong one. This was an old one. Let's go to the all. Let's go to the number 8. And you can say it's a domestic order. Ground, the account it is tied to is Athleta Edge. It has picked up everything. So we inserted shoe orders, but order items, there are no order items under the shoe order. So the next object that we're going to load the data in is the order items. Before I go, are you guys clear on what I did in the sheet? Everybody?
So what happens if you left
Account?
an international order entry which you deleted earlier? What would have happened?
It would have tried to insert the same record twice.
And then?
It will just be a bad data sitting in your system.
So unless we said, okay, so is the on the visit, is there an option like do not if the data exists, do not insert or something
But
like
then
that?
on what basis you're considering it as a duplicate? You have to define that also.
We have the Salesforce ID here, right?
No, but this is the Salesforce ID of the account. What you could have done is, if there was, there could have been another column introduced called ID. Okay. And in that ID, for that 5th record, which already got inserted, we should have populated that ID. And then instead of doing an insert, we should have done an upsert operation. That way it will figure out, hey, the ID is already there. I don't have to insert this record. I have to update this record.
But can I not enforce the same logic on the account column?
No, account column, all you're doing here is you're not inserting a record. You are tying this record to this account. That's what you're doing with this account column. See, every order needs to be tied to an account. And that's why we have introduced this column called F, and we populated the account with the IDs to tie that shoe order to that respective account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the question?
So I think
where are you getting confused?
No. So I think it was just more like on the feature, right? So if we had like a Salesforce ID,
yeah,
what you said, then I think we can, based on that, we can say, okay,
it's an update.
Update or upsert or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But because it's reading the account column and it's identifying that as one particular account ID. Oh, so even if it's the same account ID, it doesn't matter because then there could be some other multiple orders. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have two, see this one and this one. So if I go to this order, let's go to this order, 9/12/2025. And those 2 orders belong to the same account. So if I go all, I don't know which one it is. 9/12, this is 11. We need to go to 9/12/2025.
That's fine. I think that's like
Yeah.
That's like a one-to-many, so they can take multiple orders. So we can.
Yeah. So here, that's the easier way is this one. So if I go to this account, copy this, so you just replace the entire with it'll take you to that account record. And under that account record, if you go to the related, you are going to see 2 orders, 10 and 11. Because while we were inserting, both these have the same ID tied to it. So that's why it's reflecting 10 and 11 under that account. Okay?
Yeah, I think the reason I'm asking is like because in real time, like this is a very common issue, right? So there is like multiple data loads, and then eventually like there's multiple records that fail. So what is like a good practice is like, I mean,
Okay. So
how do we like we can't go by record by record. There has to be some better way of like,
In that
identify.
case, you export
go ahead. Go ahead. You were saying something. Somebody was saying something.
and show orders and then get the ID and do a VLOOKUp on this sheet that you are using as a source. Then do the save the record and then upsert.
Can you come back again?
So if some records are imported and some failed in for shoe order, right? So you export the shoe order, the initial insert, and then get the ID of the shoe order, the exported records, and then do a VLOOKUP on the sheet that you are for the failed records you want to insert, right? So you do a VLOOKUP for the ID of the shoe order records, and then get that as a column for ID, and then save that sheet, and then do a upsert.
Yeah. That is if somebody needs to be an expert in Microsoft Excel for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you basically, what she said is correct. I'm not an expert at Excel, but what she's saying is you basically get the IDs of the newly created records. You populate those IDs with those records that are newly created, keep the failed records without the IDs, and do an upsert using that Excel sheet. Right?
Yeah, you get the inserted records ID, right? So you know which ones are inserted and the other ones will be blank. And so the either import wizard you're using or the data loader, it will know. So there is no ID to when you do the upsert.
Yeah. When there is no ID to the when there is no ID, that means it's an insert, and when there is an ID, that means it's an update.
Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Okay. So next thing is we will insert the other one, which is the line items. So let's get the order items one, which is same as line items. And here, this is a new thing I'm going to teach you. Shoe inventory, we are going to, so in the case of order items, if you go to the, this is your orders. And if you go to one order, and if you go to the related, and if you try to create an order item, shoe order has been populated, and it is a required field. You see here S100. Every order item has to be tied to a particular shoe order. So shoe order is there. SKU, you can tie it or not tie it, is up to you. Okay. So you can tie it to the inventory. So even though this is not a required field in my Excel sheet, I am populating the shoe inventory. I'm also populating the shoe order. And instead of populating it with an ID, which I'm not doing, all I'm doing is I'm populating with these numbers, 009, 008, 007. I am not capturing the ID. Behind the scene, it will automatically tie it to that shoe order. Okay. So there are two ways of doing it. Either you can do it with the ID behind the scene, or you can use it with the record name as well, if you remember. In the case of account, you could have chosen a Salesforce ID, or you could have chosen an account name. Similarly, here also, rather than populating the IDs of every shoe order, what we are doing is we are populating just the order number. And then in the case of shoe inventory, I'm populating it based on the ID. So I'll pick up a shoe inventory record. And I'll just put this. I need to replace the ID. Control V. I'll do it for a couple of records. Maybe I'll do it for all of them. Okay, and if you need to, let's just pick up another one. Okay, and then let's just pick one more. And that's it. Okay, so this is my shoe order, and then here I will link it to SO 00001. Okay. Here I need to do, so on the shoe order, if I have to insert a shoe order, under the shoe order, if I have to insert an order item, I have to provide the shoe order and the SKU number. This is a master detail, this is a lookup. Okay, and then unit price and quantity. So every order item needs to be tied to a shoe order. And that is the same way I am doing it through my CSV file as well. I've populated the inventory field with the IDs of that shoe inventory. And here I am saying, just give me the name property. So what I'll do is I'll go to the data import wizard, setup, and we will go to the data import wizard. And this time I am loading order items. So we'll go ahead and go for it. Custom objects, order items, add new records. Which shoe, so it's asking, which shoe inventory field in your file do you want to match against to set the SKU lookup field? I'm going to choose the Salesforce.com ID. Which shoe order field in your file specifies the master? I'm going to choose the shoe order name. Up till this point, you were choosing the Salesforce ID, but I'm saying compare it with the name. Okay? Because name is a shoe order name is a field available and it can tie it to that field. And then CSV file, choose the file. I'm going to choose this shoe order and next, unmapped order number. It is unmapped order date. Wait a minute. Why is it giving me? Why is not giving me the field for the?
I think you selected the wrong object. Is it shoe orders instead of order item?
No, I am putting it in the order items. I think I selected the wrong sheet. Let's see. This is the one I'm adding, order items. Next. Yeah, now this is fine. I was selecting the wrong one. Shoe inventory. Shoe order is mapped to shoe order. Let's go to the previous one. I had to do it here. Shoe inventory is the Salesforce ID, and this one is the Salesforce order name. CSV file. Choose the file. Order items. Next. SKU. Map it to the quantity. And then map it to the price. Okay. So if you remember, in the Excel sheet, you had a shoe order field. So if I go ahead and open this shoe order, you had a field called shoe order in there. And instead of populating it with the ID, you're populating it with that particular shoe order name, which is also you can do it. Order date is this, not this one, guys. Don't save. This is the one. So shoe order, I'm populating it with this. Then the inventory, I am picking up based on the Salesforce ID. So I'm tying the Salesforce record ID with the shoe inventory, and everything else is just plain basic number field and unit price. Okay. So now if I go here and that I've mapped it. So in the shoe order, you're going to map it. So behind the scene, it is going to tie it to that shoe order. But rather than populating it with a Salesforce.com ID, I'm tying it with the record name, the one field that gets created when you create an object. And then everything else is same as it is. Next, start the import, click OK. 3 records fail, which is fine. We look at view result. Let's see why they failed, but majority of them were successful. Okay, so this 0003 wasn't there, so it could not find that record. That's why it's not able to tie it, but the rest it was able to create. Now, if you go to any of the shoe orders, and you will go under the order item. So let's say we pick up 001. Okay, it should have two order items underneath it. So if I go to the shoe order and we go to this one, 001, we go to related, you will see the newly created are added. Initially, it might had two, the two more have been added under this shoe order. Similarly, if you go to this one, 004, or let's see 771, we can check. So there should be, if you go to the shoe order and we go to the 7, we go to the related, those 8 and 9 orders have been added. So if you go under it, the unit price is 105. Let's see if the unit price is 105 and the quantity is 16. Quantity is 16. Similarly, if you go to the other one, 009, unit price is 120. You can see here quantity is 7. It is tied to this SKU and this is the shoe order. So those values have been populated successfully. So you have to be careful when there is a lookup relationship or a master detail relationship. Every other is very simple. Is everybody clear on what I'm doing so far? Am I okay to proceed? Hopefully I'm not going too fast today. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a quick question. I know you said there's a difference between the lookup and the master detail. Like when you're entering the data in the data loader, do you need to enter, like it seems like you wouldn't need to enter it any different. You just need to be aware of the fact that it's master detail or lookup, or is there something different you need to do when it's master detail versus lookup?
Okay, the only difference is if it's a master detail, you have to populate the value of that field. If it's a lookup, you can get away without populating that lookup field. But if it's a master detail, you won't be able to create the record until the master detail is populated. Because master detail is a required field on that object.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Could you have a lookup that's required too then?
You
could make a
can,
lookup
but you
required.
can make lookup required, but in our case, we have not made the lookup required.
Okay, all right, thank you. Understand.
Yeah. Anything which is required, you have to provide the value of that field. Okay.
Sorry, one last thing.
Go ahead.
I really like that how when you're using the data wizard, you're able to select, do you want to use like the shoe order number or the Salesforce ID?
Yeah.
When you're using data loader, you don't have that option, right? You always have to use the Salesforce ID.
Okay, that's a good question. I have to look into the data loader to see that. Let me see. Where is my data loader? Right here. I don't remember that. So if I go to an insert, we go to login. Login here. We were doing it through shoe. Was it order items, right? Yeah, order items. Browse. I think you should be able to do it, but let me just double check. These are the things I never thought like that. Data import wizard. I am just going to go to the order items. Next. Click OK. Shoe order. It is an option, ID and name.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think I've seen that, but I've never used it. But that makes it a lot easier if you can do that. So thank you for showing me that.
Yeah, so there is
It
an
was
option.
not used to be there before. With the latest versions, they started this option.
Yeah,
It
now
was
that
called UDC inside and you put in Excel sheet how you map it. Also for the record type, right? The initial ones that Deepika imported, you were able to select the record type, domestic or international, and do multiple imports based on that. But here with the data loader, you can do it bulk import, mass import, and defining the record type ID in the sheet as a different column. There are
Gotcha.
some
Okay, so
different.
what you're saying is there is no in the case of data loader, you cannot pick up record type before. You have to put it in the Excel sheet with the record type column and populate the record type. Whereas in data import wizard, you can pick up a record type before. Is that what you're saying?
Record type, you can do mass import if you know the record type and get the record type ID and as a column in the sheet. You can do bulk import. You don't have to do multiple imports like choosing the record type from the import wizard. It can be done in one import.
Yeah, we just did that, right?
No, there you choose domestic or international, right?
Yeah.
But with the data loader, you can import
both
all records. Yeah.
Okay. And you can select which one is domestic and which one is international.
No, you just have to add a column.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So what you're saying is, in the case of data import wizard, we choose beforehand and we can only import same record type records in one go. Where in data loader, if you add a new column in your sheet saying record type and you populate the record type with either international or domestic, both type of records will get inserted. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got it. Thank you. So guys, everything crystal clear up till this point? Anybody has any questions? They have any doubts? Anything they're not able to understand? I'm not going to go forward until everybody says yes. Okay. Now we are going to do a couple of examples related to related to validations, and we will cover some important methods like VLOOKUP and case, etc., to understand more about validation rule. Okay, so first validation rule that we are going to be creating. So everybody has done till this point, so we are good to go. Pretty much very similar ones. So now I will go to some other validation rules. Okay. So here, we created on the shoe order, we added the record type as international order or a domestic order. And we want to make sure that for every international order, the custom code should be defined as well as import duty should be defined and the shipping country should be defined. All of these are needed if the record type the user has selected, if it is of the international order. This is the validation we want to make sure. Right now, what's happening is if you go to a shoe order, if it is a international order, you can still not provide the value of these two fields. And let me choose Canada, and you will be able to save the record. Hit save without providing the custom code and import duty. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add a validation which checks if it is an international order, I do have to provide the custom code, import duty, and shipping country. Okay, so what will I do here is I will go here, I will go to the edit object, and this is I'm going to copy it from here. Go ahead. And then let's go to the record type first. I wanted to see what is the name of the record type, international order. It is international underscore order. So always remember this is the API name, okay, with an underscore. So we'll go here, we'll go to the validation rule and click on new. Here I'm going to say custom code and import duty is required for international. Okay, this is my thing. I'm gonna paste it. So record type is the one of the field that is available. Okay, so if you see here, on the shoe order, there is a field called record type. And from the record type, you are selecting the name column of that record type. Okay, so what it is going to tell you, it could either be international order or it could be a domestic order. So how did I go? Inside insert field on the shoe order itself, there is a field called record type. Okay, from that record type, you can either pull up the name column or the record type ID. So here we are picking up the record type name. We are getting the name here. Actually, we're getting the developer name. But for some reason, why am I not seeing record type? Oh yeah, right here. Record type name, it's a developer name here, means which is the API name. Okay, so this is my international order, and I'm checking if the custom code is blank, or the import duty is blank, or the shipping country is blank. If either one of this is blank and it is an international order, I am going to get an error message. Okay, it is custom code is not there. I think it's customs code. Okay, the field name was customs code with an S. Any questions on this one? So what we're checking what type of record it is. Is it an international order or is it a domestic order? If it is an international order, only in the case of international order, custom code is required, as well as import duty is required, and shipping country. If either one of this is blank, not all, if either one, it's going to throw an error message. And what is the error message? Error message is international order must have customs info. So this is my message, and you can put it on the field or top of the page. We're going to hit the save. Now, if you go back here and we go to the shoe order, we click on new, we try to create an international order, and we are tying it to this account. Shipping country is Canada. Status is draft. Shipping method is international. I am not providing customs code, but let's say I'm providing import duty, and let's say $25. Hit save. I'm getting an error message saying international order must have customs information because this field is blank. If I give a custom code FY78, hit save, both the values are provided, I'm able to proceed to the next. I'm able to save the record. So through this formula field, we learned about this concept of record type. Okay, if you want to pull up the record type inside of your validation rule, you can do that by doing record type dot of developer name. Developer name is the API name of the record type. Okay, if you are choosing, in this case, if we go on creating a domestic order, right? In that order, you can create an account record. You can create a shoe order record without providing those values. And those values are not even visible on the domestic order. So I will be able to save it without any issue. So in the case of international order, those custom field and import duties required, whereas in the case of domestic order, that is not required. So this we were able to achieve through the validation rule. Is everybody clear on this validation rule?
Yeah, one kind of maybe a layman question now, Deepika. So we have those two fields on only on international page layout.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I mean, what is the advantage? I mean, we can mandate those fields on that page layout, right? For
Exactly. Yes, yes.
instead, what is the kind of
difference? You can actually do it through the page layout also,
okay.
Or you can do it through the validation rule.
Okay, yeah, both is going to be kind of
both is going to be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, let's do one thing. That's a good point. I want to display that. Can we do it?
Can it the reason why you want to do
I'll show you.
either page layout or validation rule is, could it be based on profiles?
Validation rule will fire for everybody.
Right. So
page layout will be fired for the specific profile, but right now we haven't gone. So I'm going to uncheck this. Okay. I'm deactivating this one, and I'm going to go to the back to here. It would be based, so there's going to be a difference, I think, on the page layout. We go to the page layout and we go to the shoe order layout, and you can make a particular field required through here as well. So here I'm going to make it required, click OK. Import duty required, click OK, and hit save. Okay, so this is required. Now if I go to the shoe order, and so now the validation rule is deactivated, so that will not get enforced. Let's see if this gets enforced. You know what? I have to empty cache it. It doesn't pick up. New international order. Shipping country, Canada. Shipping method, international, would apply. Account is strike gear. I am not providing these. It's not, you know what happened? It's just not taking it into account yet. It should be required, click OK. Required, click OK, save it. There's click on new international order. Wait a minute. Let's ask my best friend. If on the page layout of international order, I have marked the fields as required, why those fields are not, you know what, it's just a caching issue, most probably are not showing as required. Yeah, best practice is to create a validation rule rather than the page layout. Let me do one thing. I just wanted to use Microsoft Edge here and go to login. Hit login here. Deepti, are you following Tripti? International order.
Yes, Deepika.
Okay, so see here, it does, so it was just a caching issue. It became a required through the page layout. So here, if I try to do it through Trailblazer, it was just a caching issue, and then try to hit save. It's going to give me an error. Complete this field and complete this field. But if I go and create a domestic order, then here it's not going to show up and you don't need it. You just have to pick up one account and you will be able to. So you can do it through both ways, but validation rule is the right way of doing it.
Okay, thanks. Sir.
Next one. Okay. This one, very simple. Submitted or fulfilled order must have at least one line item. So the most important thing is, if you remember, we did created a roll-up summary field called item count on the shoe order object. So every time, if I go back to the shoe order, there is a number of items field, okay? Depending upon how many order items are there under that shoe order. So if you right now, number of items is 0 because there is no order items under this shoe order. If I go here, click on the order item and provide quantity is 5, 50 as the unit price, SKU is this one, hit save. So I've added one order item. So if I come back here, automatically the value has reflected to 1. Anytime you create an shoe order, and if it is in the fulfilled status, you cannot have number of items as 0. If it is 0, it is going to give you a validation rule. Right now, there is no validation message coming up. If I go to a shoe order, and if you pick up this one, let's see, there is an item underneath. 10. There's no item underneath. So right now, if you change the status from draft to fulfilled, I want to make sure at least one item should be available. And I cannot proceed without a item available under the shoe order. Okay. So through this, what we are checking is pickval. We are checking if the status is submitted or if the status is fulfilled and number of items is showing as 0. In that case, I am going to get an error message saying submitted or fulfilled orders must have at least one line item. This is my error. So I'm going to go to the edit object. And here I am going over to the validation rule. Click on new. This is must have. This is a restriction on how many I can have. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the description here. This is my criteria. So let's just learn the criteria. So I am using OR. This is OR method, means either this or this. Either the status is submitted or the status is fulfilled. Only in that scenario. And number of items is equals to 0. Number of items is a roll-up summary field that is available on the shoe order. If it is 0, in that case, I want to throw an error message. Before we do that, let's check if syntactically we are correct. It looks correct here, no issue. And this is the same error message I'm going to throw. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save and hit save here. Okay. Now, if I go to shoe order, right now, if I click on edit, you can see here number of items is 0. If I try to hit the save, I'm getting an error message saying submitted or fulfilled orders must have at least one line item. So now I'm getting that validation error message. Moment I add an order item underneath, click on new, and I will add tie it to a SKU, quantity 5, 19 bucks, hit save. This has been updated to 1. I'm able to go ahead and change it. But the rule will only get affected if its status is fulfilled or submitted. If it is other than that, that rule is not going to get fired. Okay, because in the criteria, you have mentioned only 2 pick list value fields. Okay, guys, any questions on this one? So pick val is a very important function. You will use it a lot.
Hey, Deepika.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, a quick question on the previous point raised. We understand that a validation rule is a good way of setting up rules. But what is a scenario, in which scenario you can also use a page layout? Usually it is said that if you have a validation rule, it enforces across all the different profiles, right? Or it could also be at different levels. It could be wherever this particular, say, for example, I'm sorry, I'm not getting the word actually. So wherever this field is used, okay? Give me an example where we can use page layout validations.
Only if that page layout is for a specific profile. You can do that even through validation rule. You can say in the validation rule, you can check what is the profile name. So I don't think there is a good point of see if you only had one page layout, okay, you don't have to create a required check through a validation rule, because whatever you can do through page layout, you can do through validation. In validation also, you can specify, hey, if the profile.name is not equals to system admin, fire this validation rule. You can do that in profile. I don't recall anything where we will specifically use a page layout required versus a validation rule. Only place I can think of is for a specific particular profile for that specific layout, you want to make it required. I can come up with a use case, but Rupal, I don't know on top of my head, where will that be?
Okay, thank you.
But you understand, right? The best case or the best scenario is to use validation rules because it will be across the board.
Yeah, I get that. I just wanted to understand
And
if in real world scenario, if there is a reason why they have given the feasibility of page layout validation, and what are the best methods to use it? Like in which scenario it's good to use.
Yeah, I have to come up with that scenario.
Okay. Thank you.
The next one, guys, so we did this one. We have one more to go. Okay. Here, this is another very important method, is changed. Okay. So if you have already set the status of the order as submitted, you cannot change the order date, shipping method, and shipping country. That is what this validation is checking against. So there is a method called is changed, which basically checks, have you changed the value of the field? Okay. Once you have saved the record, submitted, once you have saved the shoe order and the status of the shoe order is submitted, and then you are trying to change one of these fields, it is going to throw an error saying shipping fields cannot change because that is pretty required, right? Once you've submitted the order, you can't go back and flicker around with country and methods and all that. So you want to have set in stone only once the order has been submitted. So very simple formula. Shipping methods, shipping fields. This is again going to go on the shoe order. So this is the last one for the day. And prior value, you see here prior value, it checks what was the value of the field prior to you hit the save. Okay, that is what the prior value gives us. So here I'm going to go to the validation rule. Click new. Shipping fields can change once the order is once submitted. Okay, let's just do this. And here can't change after the order is submitted. And then what is the criteria? So this is my whole method. So what does this do? Okay, so is pickval, you know. Then the next one we have is the prior value. So if you go to the prior value method, okay, so what does the prior value does? Returns the previous value of the field. What was the value prior to saving that record? That is what the prior value does. Is changed, all it is doing is it is checking has the value of the field is different from its prior value. And if it is different, it will return true. If the value is different, otherwise it is going to return you false. Okay, so let me show you how it is actually going to get implemented. There is a syntax error. I don't know why these dots appeared. Oh, because it was in the formula. Okay, so we are checking for a couple of things here. One is we are checking what is the value. So you are trying to save a record. You created a record and now you're editing that record. Okay, if the at that time if the value of the order was submitted, and now through that operation you are changing the value of what it was before, and if any of these fields are being changed, it is going to throw a message, and the message that it is going to throw is this one: shipping fields cannot be changed, and this is at the top of the page. So right now, if you go to any order, if I go to a order here, 7, and right now it's in draft. Okay, I am able to change these fields. I'm able to change order date, shipping method, and shipping country. No issue. So I'm going to change the shipping order date to, let's say, 9th. Okay, it is status is drafts. No problem, nothing. Moment I change the status to submitted, okay, and hit save here. So this is the order is in submitted status. Now, if I change the order date to 16, it should complain. And it is complaining saying shipping fields cannot change after the order is submitted. Similarly, if I go ahead and hit cancel, edit the record, if I change this to draft, and if I change this to 16, there shouldn't be a problem, because let me put this value. There shouldn't be a problem because, okay, it actually complained. Because the prior value in this case was submitted. Getting my point? The prior value was submitted and you're changing it from submitted to draft. It didn't allow you. So hit save, it didn't allow you because it is checking against what is the prior value before you hit the save. So it's very, very important here. What prior value means: before you edited the record, what was the value of that field? And if it was submitted, even then also you cannot change it. Okay.
Is there a way we can disable all the fields once the status is changed to submitted, right?
Okay. That has to be through an Apex or a LWC. You cannot disable the field. It is not an out of the box functionality, because this is a standard layout of the page. So it's pretty restrictive.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay. Any questions on this one, guys? Okay. The last 4 minutes, let's open the forum for discussions. If you have any questions regarding today's lecture, any feedback would you like to put it? This is the time you speak up, guys. Okay, Betty, you want to talk about this issue that you're having in images? And thank you, Vijay, for putting it up on the validation rules. Nobody has any questions? Was everything crystal clear? No worries, Betty. Vijay, Sayali, Kushbu, were things good to go? Tomorrow we will talk about VLOOKUP, few more validation rule, and then we will start getting into the access and security. Can I get a thumbs up from everybody before we wrap up? Okay. If you guys have any personal stuff or any questions, just ping me separately on WhatsApp. And if you need an additional session, anything like that, we can always talk about it. Okay, guys?
I got a really quick, silly question.
Sure, what is
Silly,
it?
kind
There's
of.
no question, a silly question.
So I do a lot of formulas and validation rules. And I've kind of got into, I don't know if it's good or bad, into just plugging in the criteria and letting ChatGPT create the formula or the validation field. But I just want to know your thoughts on using AI to create this kind of code instead of creating it manually.
Oh, I would, if there is something available, use it. I'm all about using AI. As long as you're understanding what it is doing, you're good to do that. So there is nothing wrong with using AI. If your company allows it, why not? It increases your productivity. But if you want to learn it and you want to use your brain to do it, it's a personal choice. If time is a constraint and if you just want to get things done, there's no harm in using AI. AI gives you 90% of the time, it does give you right answers. Some of the time it doesn't give you right answers. So you still have to use your brain on top of AI. You can't just blindly trust AI on everything that it spins out, because sometimes it does give wrong answers too.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Do you have any other like suggestions? I see you use ChatGPT. Is there anything else that you would recommend?
I am
Other
doing a
AIs?
course on MCP. Have you heard of this model context protocol?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that is basically now within your Visual Studio Code, there is a Copilot agent available. That is
Okay.
the one which can now the things have changed so much that you can integrate your code with an agent. An agent will figure out what your fields are, where you need to create something, and it will create it for you now. Those days are gone where you have to do things manually. Now you can literally ask, hey, write this class, write a test class, deploy it, everything, it'll do it. So besides
Do you
AI,
think
what are the tools I have used? I think I'm only used because I have a paid subscription for ChatGPT. So I use ChatGPT a lot. In Visual Studio Code, I use Copilot.
Cursor.
What is it?
Cursor?
Cursor is see what Cursor is also it's in plugin. It's like an IDE which integrates with Visual Studio, but you can use without Cursor also. Like you can literally use Visual Studio IDE right here. I'll show you in a minute. And this is the course I'm working on it right now. Hopefully, should be done by end of this month. So here, if you go, you have something called as MCPs. Basically, you are telling it to use these different helpers. Where is it? So inside of I've created a file under VS Code called where is it? MCP.json. You can add a server. You can use it to do that, and then you can put your agent here and start asking agent the question, and it will work within your code to figure out what existing fields you have, what are your current classes, all of that.
Oh my God. So like Salesforce has like this inbuilt MCPs. You don't
Yeah,
even have to
you
build
have to
one.
pay for
That's
it. You have
awesome.
to pay because every time to use it, it uses some tokens. So some of it, if you're using some agents are cheaper, some are a little like GPT-5 is expensive. So if you're using like regular agents, you'll be fine. But yes, it can write the code for you. It can even update your existing classes for you. It can write validation rules for you, and it can deploy that for you as well. All that within your Visual Studio Code. So besides Visual Studio Code and ChatGPT, I haven't used anything.
Okay, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, think about this. Use AI, guys. Why not? If it's available, why not use it? If it was a restrictive thing, yes, I would use your build up your brain. But yeah, I don't mind using AI, to be honest with you. It has improved my productivity a lot better. Like if I had to create the same project on my own, it would have taken me days. With ChatGPT, it kind of gave me a structure, even though I still have to think about it and come up with my own ideas, and I have to ask it, hey, do this, do that. But it has literally reduced my effort. What else, guys? Are you using ChatGPT a lot or AI tool a lot?
Yeah, at least for all, I mean, more than the code, right? Even for emails and all other stuff, right? So we are using a lot.
It helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
But I would still say you still have to use your brain. Like you don't just become so dependent that your brain just gets freaking like have nothing to think about. You still have to be creative. But yeah, if I don't mind using AI.
Yeah, and Deepika, one question. So since this is my first class, right? I did not go through the previous classes. Are we done with all those VS Code ID setup and everything?
No,
The
VS
previous
Code we
classes?
haven't done anything because
Okay.
the stat comes out when we are doing
Uh,
coding and stuff. This was
Okay.
so far out of the box. Go
Okay.
through those questions. There are a couple of assignments. Once you go through the videos, you will know the assignments as well in those videos. So try to do those assignments this week.
Yeah, sure. I'll try to do that.
The shoe order is the application we are pretty much building in this whole
Yeah.
project.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Betty, if you need to connect offline, just ping me and we can jump on a call. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and take care.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
bye.
Deepika.
Bye-bye.